Welcome back to Athletics Check, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to say, we are in a good mood right now because our good friend Anthony Deneau rolled a nat 20 for tonight's Vibe Check. Vibe
Read the
Check,
vibe.
critical success on the Vibe Check tonight. And I'm so glad to be here again with you guys. There's so much to talk about. I can't wait. Let's start. I want to start with Tony because I feel like the biggest news right now is in
Biggest
your
news is rolling that
space.
fucking nat 20, baby.
The biggest news for
Woo!
us was that nat 20. The vibes are going to be unreal tonight. Critical success.
That's
But
Critical
great.
vibe.
I've never seen it
uh
done before. I've never seen it done.
The vibe.
literally
Never seen it.
very first.
That's
very
the
first.
energy. How excited we got for nat 20s being rolled. That's how exciting it is on the
Yes.
table.
Yeah.
When things
Yes.
happen and they're critically successful, we're fucking stoked. We're absolutely stoked.
I'm really
awesome.
glad that happened. I'm really glad I
Yeah, me
got to be
too.
here for that.
Yeah, good start to the show, Michael Feuerbach.
Yeah, that's my name and my full.
Yeah.
And I want to pass the buck over to you, Mr. Anthony Deneau, because I feel like you have a lot of sports news for us this time, and I can't wait to get into it and ask what's happening.
This is great. I mean, the three big stories as we record this are, of course, Taylor Swift and who is it, Tyler?
Travis Kelce.
Oh, he gave us.
I gave it to him.
He gave us a sweet Kelce.
You should have
in-
said
in
anything.
warm-up. I know, Michael.
Before the show, I called him Travis Kelce because that's how he spells it.
So you've got that going on. The other big thing would be that Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffalo are still one of the big talks in sports. And then today, the big one, as we live, in the Portland area, and I'm a huge Milwaukee Bucks fan. Damian Lillard, who is the face of Portland sports for the last decade plus, has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I found this out random, today at work, not expecting it. There had been hints that the teams had discussed something like that. But he had really demanded that he wanted to go to Miami. Like that was where he wanted to play. That's where he said he wanted to get traded to. He said he would kind of almost make things ugly or not show up to training camp or something if he went somewhere else. But it seems so far that he is happy to be on the Milwaukee Bucks. And for me, it's just such a weird thing. I've been a Milwaukee Bucks fan my whole life. I've lived and worked in Portland the last 4+ years. And just to see how revered and loved Damian Lillard is in Portland and Oregon as the Trailblazers star, superstar, top 75 player all time, he was voted in just within the last year or two when they made the 75 list. He's one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen. And to see now also working, in the schools, like in Portland at a school that Damian Lillard has been to multiple times, to see the faces, the reaction of everyone, it's definitely a bittersweet. It's a little sad, but also ushers in a new era, and it's just a big deal. Like, this man lives here. He's moved his family here. He's got like a nightclub and other businesses here. Damian Lillard has Toyota. Is it Damian Lillard Toyota? I mean, he's got an entire auto dealership. I mean,
I was wondering if, I know that I've seen the name somewhere, and so that says a lot.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say something similar too, because it's like we obviously started this podcast because we don't know that much about it. But I mean, you pick up bits and pieces through osmosis as you live your life, and Damian Lillard, I mean, that's a household name, or at least around here, like, so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Boy.
Yeah, I mean, it is bittersweet that, he's leaving our home team, but, it sounds like from the conversations that we had, that was inevitable anyway. So I'm like, at
least us Bucks got him, dude.
Yeah, I'm weirdly very supportive of this trade because of our
affiliation with the Bucks and our love for them now. Yes.
You'll probably hear more about Damian Lillard now.
Yes, 100%.
Through this show and me being a big Bucks fan.
Yeah, man.
Then maybe you would have otherwise.
100%. Thanks.
Yeah, there
Put
you
it on the
go.
roll. Put it
There
on
it
the
is.
roll.
Put it
Well,
on.
first one done.
Clip it.
Yeah.
Clip
I'm
it.
glad it wasn't me this time. I'm always the burp kid.
Helping you out.
Well, thanks, man. That's exciting news. I'm so happy. I'm happy that it's not bittersweet for you. It's more like I'm enjoying this energy, and I'm like,
yes.
yeah. running
Well,
off of it.
there's other pieces to this. So the Bucks had to give up a very, very good player, another top level player, not like not
so it was
one of
a
the greatest
trade.
offensive players. It was in a trade. So he demanded to be traded to Miami, and instead he gets traded to Milwaukee, but there's connections there. He has a former teammate who is now on the Bucks, who is good friends with the top star on the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and his previous coach also is now an assistant on the Milwaukee Bucks, and so there's that connection.
Okay.
And then also, now they do this all-star game where the best players in the league are voted to play a special game against each other, kind of a gentleman's game. It's you don't see a lot of defense or people trying really hard. They don't want to get injured. They're there to just kind of throw alley-oops and dunks and kind of have flashy long threes and things like that. It's
Yeah.
called the all-star game.
The All-Star. I know
Yeah,
what
the
that
all-star
means.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
So this last
I've heard of
year,
the Monstars.
there you go. That exists. Giannis Antetokounmpo was the all-star captain of one team, which means they do it like dodgeball style, where they pick their teams. They go up on stage, and it was Giannis for the Bucks, and then LeBron now on the Lakers the last handful of years. And they get to choose the other all-stars. And Giannis had first pick, and he chose Damian Lillard even over his teammate, who was also an option who was available, Drew Holiday. And that same teammate is the one who just got traded to Portland. So it's interesting. This could be the second time that he chose this guy over his previous teammate.
Interesting.
In a matter of
this is like a Game of Thrones, man. This is like
all the different
the
webs and everything.
And the relationships. It's like who's gonna win, the Lannisters or the Targaryens? It's like,
do I know
the Bucks or the Heat? Who's gonna take the sweet victory?
It's also
cool.
there's just a lot of fun stuff with it, but it's just interesting also seeing people are happy for Damian Lillard to be going to a place where he's more likely to win a championship, which is what he really wants. So it seems like a lot of Blazers fans, what I've heard from radio and around, is that they want him to do well where he goes. Like, he's not going to a rival. Like, if you were going to the Lakers, who is a big rival of the Blazers, then people would not be happy with Damian Lillard. But for him to go to a different conference in a different region and play with a team that's fairly fan favorite, because they're also an underdog team to an extent. I mean, it's Milwaukee and Portland are similar in size and underdog cities, right? You don't think of you think of Chicago, New York, LA, these big cities, Dallas, whatever,
big teams.
Whereas Milwaukee and Portland are considered smaller markets with less of a TV market and maybe not as much money as the multi billionaire owners of some of these teams in other places and other cities.
Does New York do pretty well in basketball or no?
So they've got two teams. They've had the Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks forever. But the Brooklyn Nets have had some success the last handful of years, but it's kind of a weird thing. Like, they've been a team that has tried to do the super team thing where they just pay, 3 or 4 top level stars and just see if it can work. And they don't really consider, it's just kind of throwing money to put a team together, not really considering basketball fit and roles and who is a leader, who has to be the alpha dog. There's only one ball. So if you get a bunch of guys who are just known as scorers, or that's the main thing that they do, and don't provide a lot of other things in defense and other, other intangibles.
Yeah, you don't put together a team. Yeah,
exactly. You have to think about all, you also, there's only one ball, and you also, having the ball is only half of the game. So you got to think about playing defense, who's going to guard who. And when it comes down to it, your team needs one shot, who is your guy to do that? And I think the Nets have really just were throwing money. They've gotten it together now because it didn't work. Like, they tried the super team thing, but it just did not work. They had James Harden, Kyrie Irving. They had Kevin Durant. They traded for Ben Simmons and traded, one of their superstars, Harden, to get him. And it was just kind of a mess. So now I would say the Nets and Knicks are okay, like playoff level teams, but I would not consider either of them to be champions this next season unless some crazy trades happened. But right now, they're just not at that elite level where you would consider them a championship level team.
Gotcha.
That's so cool that you could just pull that memory of like how these trades have happened, how all this stuff has gone over the last few years, and just like access that information. Whenever I talk to my wife and tell her about D&D games that I played, 7-8 years ago, she's like, "How do you remember that, but not remember the chores around the house?" And just kidding, kidding. But honestly, like there's something in our minds that are just like, I connect with this, or for some reason I remember this, and it's impressive that you could just pull that out of the ether. Unless you're reading on your computer, I can't.
I'm not. I have our podcast doc up. Okay. I just really love sports and basketball. It's funny. It's for me like I don't have to think about it to remember it. It happens and it sticks when it comes to things that I love like that. And like you love D&D, so you can go back to games or, I remember a situation however long ago where my buddy who was playing as this character decided to do this.
Yeah, I remember that.
Complete game reset.
Yeah.
Very
good. What's going on with those? With the you mentioned something about Buffalo Sanders, something like that.
Sure, Deion Sanders. If you he's the greatest cornerback of all time. These are the defensive players who guard the wide receiver to stop them from catching the ball. He's the best at that as there ever was, and he was a Hall of Fame football player. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer. So meaning like the first time that you were eligible to go from retirement into the Hall of Fame, you got it right away, one try. Like he's just one of the all-time greats at his position. And he's also got just hilarious quotes, and he had a reality TV show about him and his family for a while, probably 10-15 years ago. And he was also a Major League Baseball player. And so there's a really good sports documentary. It's called, I don't want to say.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, thank you. But Deion Sanders basically going back and forth between playing for the Atlanta Falcons and the Atlanta Braves, and then the New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's been in a World Series and won a couple, maybe even 3, I would say 2 or 3 NFL Super Bowls, and being a very good baseball player, one of the fastest of his era. And if he had just focused on baseball, he could have been a Hall of Fame baseball player as well. But anyway, fast forward to today, Deion Sanders is the head football coach of the Colorado Buffalo in, Boulder, Colorado.
And we were there, weren't we?
Yeah, he's their head coach, and he's just bringing a lot of attention now that he's their head coach because he's such a flashy dude, and his son is the quarterback, and he's an absolutely polarizing figure. Like Deion Sanders in the sports world is just well known because you really only have a handful of guys who are talented enough to actually play Major League Baseball and then be one of the best football players of all time.
It was Deion's double play.
Deion's double play. There you go.
There you go. That's a good name for it too. So what was he doing on baseball? I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out.
No, that's okay. I didn't mention he was a center fielder. It's just extremely fast player. So he's an outfielder. That way he gets to use his speed and then could steal bases and hit very well. If that was his main focus, he would have been.
I could see how that speed could cross over between, being an outfielder and being a basketball player because
football.
Oh, he was a football player? Sorry.
Yep.
My bad.
That's okay. No, that's all right.
I can still see it in football though. When you get the ball,
yeah, I mean,
run very
wide
fast.
receiver and running fast. Got it. Cool.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
I remember the first part of that. I snaked it back to basketball too.
That's all right.
I feel like you built this guy up that he could just do anything. So
I bet you he could play some basketball. I bet you he's quite the athlete. So
I'm sure
that's great.
Yeah.
What a cool dude.
So yeah, he's just a polarizing dude, and he just has a lot of interviews, and he's really like pimping his sunglasses, and he's like really marketed it so well that he's always wearing them, and now the sales have just exploded like the last month now with these very signature sunglasses that he wears. Like they're almost like chromed out gold, but I don't know, they're not super shiny. They're so cool.
They're on the cover of this movie poster, documentary poster too, and they're almost like reflective, like pilot's glasses. They look cool, but they're
Yes.
like Ray-Ban and thick rimmed. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could dig it.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
so
could dig
he's the other talk
He's
of
gotta
the
look.
sports world, and his team was undefeated, and it seemed like they had kind of been this story that everyone was rooting against, and Oregon actually crushed them just last weekend. So
Oh, yeah.
and there was a lot of like, Deion's known for the flashiness, and the Oregon head coach had said something in the pregame speech to his team about like they're all about clicks and we're all about football or something along those lines, like they're flashy and whatever, and we're here to
like clicks, like YouTube clicks, like
sure,
internet
yes,
clicks. Okay.
yes. Like they're all about headlines and clicks and whatever else, and we're about
I was thinking like
what we do
clicks
on
in
the
high
field.
school or something.
Clicks.
Yeah.
I was thinking
No.
they're all about like sticking together tight in little groups, and we're gonna break through their defenses. No, apparently not.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'll check that one out. That sounds great.
And
it's fun documentary. Yeah.
I was at the gym today, and something was happening on the news, but about like Taylor Swift and Travis.
Do it.
Sound it out.
Get it. Get there.
Kelce.
Ooh.
No. Success.
That's not his. Wait, is it Travis? It's Travis, right?
Yes, but he has a brother who is also an NFL player and also a Super Bowl winning, and they played each other in the Super Bowl just back in February. Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce.
So
I remember
brothers.
They have each won a Super Bowl separately and then played each other again. To whoever won got their second Super Bowl win. Right? They each had one. Travis and the Chiefs won, so Travis Kelce.
That's right. I watched that game. I watched that Super Bowl. And I did unsarcastically. I did watch it, and I remember hearing about the brothers. I couldn't remember their names for the life of me, but I did watch that win. That was great.
I just remember Travis Kelce because he was the tight end to get in fantasy league. Like, I believe, right? Like, is that
he still is?
Yeah, I mean, like, tight end is not a super point heavy like position in the fantasy league that we were getting in. So it was either you got Kelce as your tight end. Some people were picking him like first round or second round, because of how like important they were to their team comp. And then like and then everyone else was just like, I don't know, like fifth or sixth round they'll pick up a tight end maybe,
So did he win this Super Bowl in February?
Yep, Travis won.
Travis won? Okay.
The Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions.
So Taylor did really put him on the map then.
It's crazy to see that they've said that since they showed Taylor Swift in the press or the suite with Travis Kelce's mom watching Travis, that his jersey sales have gone up 300 or 400%. His follows on Instagram and all this stuff is just gone up crazy, and with
you got all the Swifty folks.
Yeah.
It's just like just discovering who this man is, and then being like, I want to know more. And then some people who are like, oh, I love Kansas City and Taylor Swift, and then I'll buy, the jersey. Like, easy mode.
Easy money mode. Maybe it's some money making play. Ooh, because it's working.
I don't know. They're people. They probably have lives.
Love isn't real. No, it's great. Good for them. I think it's adorable. People are saying that he's already a Hall of Famer and stuff too. Do you think that he's on the
Travis
path?
Kelce?
Yep, he's one of the best tight ends we've ever seen. He's definitely top 10, probably top 5. He's really right up there with the all-time tight ends. He's at that level. He really is.
Good on him. What makes him different?
So typically, for a quarterback's number one option for passing is going to be a wide receiver. But for it to be a tight end who is also a position that does a lot of blocking and a lot of physical play, and it can be kind of an unsung hero at times. Like quarterbacks still like to have a good tight end, but one who catches the ball as much as Kelce for as many touchdowns, and then also being able to get open. And he they design plays for him because he's so good at what he does. Whereas a lot of teams are just like, we need our tight end to play a role. Like he is beyond even being a very good tight end. He is really as good as it gets.
I can translate that. I can translate that for the nerds out there.
Okay, nerd it up. Let's go.
When you have a party composition of, let's say, 4 unique adventurers,
Yeah.
you can all bring your own skill set into the fight. But if you have one person who really stands out, you can buff them, you can encourage them, and you can make plays around supporting that one character to really help them shine. We had this barbarian cleric who ran into battle and he was raging, and we're like, he hits strong one time, let's make him hit more times. So we cast like haste on him to double his movement speed and let him have an extra attack per turn or an extra action per turn. And then someone else had cast bardic inspiration on him, so he had a better chance in which to hit. And everyone completely changed the way that they played to support this one guy to make the play and kill the boss. And then he rolled a nat 20 for the crit and absolutely destroyed the.
And we love nat 20s here.
Leader or whatever it was. Yeah.
That's awesome. This is just a person that you were playing with that everyone decided to rally behind.
Yeah, I'm having a moment. I'm in the right position, and then we all just rallied behind him, boosted him up, and it's a memory that lives on in my brain. I've like painted that in my head so many times. Just that moment.
Remember
of
it vividly.
lighting up with radiance and smiting enemies with this warhammer or whatever it was. It was great.
It'd be great if you could just like get like art made of all the cool moments in D&D that you have,
Yeah. We should be plugging artists. We should be plugging Instagram artists.
Hey, I just want to say
that all the time.
Big mode. Yeah.
Shout out to Salvador Dali. You've always been my favorite. Just want to say what's up and just plugging the one that might be elephants or it might be swans. I'm not sure.
I think I know what one you're talking about. Yeah, that one's good.
I think I have no clue what you're talking about, but you should check out our Instagram at Last In Maps, and that's my Instagram, and then our Instagram Athletics Check. They both start with an A, and they mess me up entirely. But now's your chance since you're scrolling Instagram, anyways. We know that you are.
I get it, man. Like sometimes you call someone Tony, sometimes you call them Nate. Like it's completely understandable.
Twice in a row, one night.
Yeah,
absolutely. You do that all the time.
They just occupy. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's just the same space. In fact, just today, Michael called me. No, he was referencing one of his friends, and he called them Tyler, and I'm like, I'm right here. I'm the only Tyler that you know. Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
It was pretty fun. He does that all the time.
It's
a character
more
flaw.
important. It's more. Yeah, it is a character flaw. It's one of my flaws, traits, bonds, that sort of thing. Yeah. Do I get inspiration when I mess someone's name up?
Yeah. If someone were role playing you, yes.
If someone were so speaking of if someone was role playing me, this is an interesting segue to an idea we wanted to talk about. If you yourself were a Dungeons and Dragons character and you were going to role play as yourself, how would you build yourself as a D&D character? It's a lovely thought experiment. I used to do at one of our previous jobs. I actually made that character sheets for everybody.
What'd you put me as?
Bard.
Oh, okay, yeah. I do play music and have high charisma.
Yeah, you're a bard. And you're a spellcaster.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that was an easy choice. You're like at least a level 1 bard. I don't put normal people that high a level though. I don't think anyone is really scratching like more than like a level 2.
Can you describe an abnormal person?
Damian Lillard, I guess, would be like a level 5 probably.
Okay, well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well placed.
Travis Kelce is probably like a level 7, I say. Level 7 tight end. For sure.
Are you talking about his butt?
Level 7 out of 10, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not, but yeah.
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, good point.
Sorry, you said tight end.
You said tight, as if I haven't been thinking that this whole time because I'm not really sure what a tight end does other than squeeze.
All right, well, so you have your big guy, your big line. They squeeze. That's great.
Yeah.
We'll just.
I know that
they're part of the back line. They're part of the back line on the offense. They run ball, they catch ball, they block, they do it all.
Yep.
We're never coming back. We're never recovering from that.
All right, what are you guys drinking?
Okay, good segue. Thank you. Pelican Brewing Double India Pale Ale, double IPA. This is actually one of my favorites. I actually really like double IPAs.
Michael, what hot sauce are you rolling with?
I got the spicy jalapeno hot sauce.
Good choice.
I don't have this.
I thought you're going Louisiana, but you trickster.
Yeah.
How many shots in are you now?
3.
3 and no tears. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I didn't grab a drink.
Your
before
constitution
tonight.
must be high.
Yeah, are you butt chugging those?
For the flavor. Yeah.
For the flavor, okay.
Yeah. It's less tomorrow.
Yeah. Little
contact haze, kind of classic Elysian. Good stuff.
Very nice. I like
that brand a lot.
You guys are both drinking IPAs?
We're both drinking IPAs, both drinking orange cans.
There you go. Yeah, when you first pulled it up, I thought it was. I like another orange canned beer from Pelican. It's the Prohibition Cream Ale.
Yes,
good stuff. Very different. Like there's not many beers quite like that, but I really get into that cream ale.
That's a good cream ale.
Yeah.
There's an imperial blackberry cider. I forget who does it. That's very good and also like 10%.
Is it that purple one with the gold?
It's the purple one. Yeah. I forget who the brewer is though.
The brewers.
It's very, very good though. They're very tasty. They're a little bit less carbonated than a lot of
Square Mile cider. Very good. Yeah, very pungent, sharp.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, they got a lot of good stuff. And potent.
9.1.
Like
9.1. That's
I oversold it a little bit.
It's okay. I bring the honesty for a reason.
Thanks.
Needed. Mm-hmm.
Deception check failed.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. So what do you think, Anthony? What kind of stats would you put as yourself? Well, what do you think?
What's your highest stat, you think, out of strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma?
Yeah, the 6 spread.
What is institution?
Constitution?
Constitution.
Yeah, close. Sorry.
Institution is like a place. They teach.
I like the idea of mixing them together. Just portmanteau.
Yeah.
Fail. Major fail. That was my Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Is it Kelce? Oh yeah.
It's
Kelsey. Okay, what is constitution?
Constitution's
Michael,
physical hardy.
The tomato.
Oh yeah, tomato. The tomato analogy is great. Strength is your ability to crush a tomato. Dexterity is your ability to throw a tomato with precision. Constitution is your ability to eat a rotten tomato and survive. Intelligence is being able to know that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that tomatoes do not go in fruit salads. And charisma is being able to sell a tomato-based fruit salad.
I'm thinking charisma, constitution, and dexterity are probably my higher points.
Constitution, dexterity
for you.
If you were, the knowledge versus wisdom is tough.
Yeah,
I feel like I have some of both, but not a great amount.
I feel like I'm low intelligence, high wisdom.
Well,
higher wisdom than intelligence, at least.
The split is kind of they can kind of mean what those words mean, but in a lot of ways, intelligence is about knowing things and in deducing things, and not necessarily. and wisdom is more about like being observant and like knowing things about the environment, or like reading cues from the environment. And I'm like, if your intelligence is smart, you can kind of pick up after that. Like, for instance, a good example that was given long ago in the Dungeon Master's Guide, I don't know if it's there anymore, like two characters are walking down in a dungeon hallway, and one of them with the wisdom will notice that there are scuff marks on the ground in the hallway, but they won't really understand why. However, the person that they tell who has a high intelligence, they may not have noticed the scuff marks, but they would know, oh, scuff marks, I expect there will probably be a secret entrance to another room because of that, you know. That's kind of the difference between intelligence versus wisdom, at least in a D&D sense, right? So so I don't know. And 10 out of is kind of like your baseline number.
Okay, so 10 is the most I can have out of the 6 categories. And how many
10
points am I allowed to start with?
Actually, 20 would be like the best you could do, and 10 would be like average for a human person.
Yeah, 20 would be like your world's strongest man, or like the world's best pickpocket.
Or the guy who eats nails.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, okay. Or that guy who wins the hot dog eating contest every year. High constitution.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to talk about contests. We have to talk about contests in a little bit.
Joey, what's his name?
I need
Joey
some
Hot
updates.
Dogs.
Joey Hot Dogs.
Joey
Joey Chestnut. I knew his name was a food.
Yeah.
Joey Hot Dogs.
Hey, it's Joey Hot Dogs over here.
Hey,
do you remember the person who was kind of really put competitive eating on the map prior to him and was his previous rival?
Wasn't it a Japanese guy?
Yes.
I can see his.
Use your intelligence, Michael. Find it. Use your intelligence.
I have no idea what his name would be.
Kobayashi, I believe.
Yes. He was a master hot dog guzzler. He gobbled them.
His mother would be proud.
Yeah. And Joey Chestnut dethroned him, huh?
He did. He did. Joey Chestnut is now just in a class.
The champion glizzy guzzler.
Okay. I'm ready to listen to it. His mom would be proud.
Okay, so I get so there's 6 categories. 10 is average out of 20.
Yeah.
How many points do I get to start my character build?
What's point by? I mean, yeah. I would say when I was building stats for people, most people I know probably don't have more than like a +1 or a +2.
What I would say is start at all 10s and then evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
And go like, am I smarter or dumber than the average person? I think that I am average. Am I more charismatic than the average person? Yes, I do think that. And I would like bump that up a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Okay, am I more humble than the average person?
All 10s is like 100%. I am a commoner, I am a human NPC shell. I am here just to fill the void.
Yeah. Think of the most boring average person you can think of. But not too boring that you would like just if they text you, you're like, do I want to hang out with that person?
Oh God. Oh no. They won't get offended, but they will kind of be upset if I do or do not answer.
Yeah. Like think of like what were those neutral people from Futurama? The ones who are like
the beige
I have no strong feelings one way or another. That's beige like the 10 of people.
Like the neutral somethings.
Yeah.
Who are the neutral people? The neutral people originate from the neutral planet and are led by the neutral president. Their quote, live free or don't.
Great.
5 check.
I'll vibe check. Yeah.
Yeah, quick vibe check, and then you got to tell us what you think.
I was deep in thought.
Okay, sorry.
Ooh.
I got a fiver.
Ugh, sick
God.
fiver.
Give
my
it to
God.
me. Oh.
No,
I don't like this. I don't like what's going on now.
and the vibes have been changed.
I did roll an 18, but I don't know if that's accurate.
I got a 9.
Fiver.
Okay, great. I will tell everyone what my stats are then.
There you go. Start there.
Did you did you have a question? Were you going to jump in?
No. So, well, would you start with what? Okay, so if it's out of 20, there's 6 categories.
Yeah.
You start with 60 points out of 120 to like put into these banks. I guess I'm thinking about it maybe too much like a video game when you're starting your very beginning character
Yeah,
build.
but like there is a threshold, so like you can't put 15s in everything because it's just like you're
Yeah,
really
it's like a
really good
curve.
at everything.
Sure.
So
Okay.
the closer you are to the top,
I can't just give myself 20 charisma to start the game.
Yeah,
I can
Right.
do like 14 or something, but that's gonna make something else suffer.
right. Kind of balances out
yeah.
usually. So like I would say there's few people in the world that have like a 20 charisma, but they'd be like your Academy Award winners. They'd be like people who are masters at acting or like deception or just like
Yeah, like
generally
Denzel.
very likable. I would say like Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington. It was just like these
Yeah.
people don't get bad press even. They are just like everybody likes them. Everybody says they have a positive encounter with them.
Yeah.
That's like maximum charisma to me. In my
Leonardo
opinion.
DiCaprio,
I
like these
that.
are masters of their craft in acting. Like that would be an easy charisma 20, you know.
Yeah.
And you could
And
use
that's
that
hard
in
to get,
different
too.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you're talking about like building a character for D&D, like rather than like real people, like standard array is a way that you can kind of think of it. So like what is it? 15, 14, 13, 12,
10,
10, 10, 8 is like the standard numbers that you give, and you pick one of those numbers in each of your stats.
So that means the lowest thing that I am would still be an 8, which is just below
Right.
average and really not that bad.
Right. It's a small detriment, you know. It's like something that you may need to work on, you know, like for instance, if you're like really smart but you're, you know, scatterbrained or something, you know, and like not very observant, that could be like one way you could do that. Or like the opposite, like, you know, maybe not a lot of book learning but a lot of street smarts, you know, in a way. Or maybe you're super smart, super observant, and just not good at talking to people, you know. That's
Right.
another way you could play that, you know. But I would say for normal people, like even like a 15 or a 14 is like that's they've got a degree in something, or they've trained something, you know.
I've got mine. I wrote down mine. And
Okay.
I think I have a quick example of why I put that as mine.
Okay.
8, I have intelligence. I didn't finish college. I did 2 years of college, but I also can pull on knowledge from the world. I just don't think it's my strongest thing. Dexterity is pretty low for me. I'm not good at like intricate details other than like playing video games on a keyboard and mouse. But even so, it's not like first person shooters that often. Wisdom is my next one. I feel like I gain wisdom from the world, but also like not really super good at perceiving things or just being aware of things or being observant. I put my 13 in strength because I'm going to the gym and stuff. I feel like it's above average for the normal person because I go to the gym. Constitution is next for me, probably because I love eating and I can suffer through a lot of hot sauce and stuff like that as relation to real life stuff. And then charisma is my highest because I act on stage and I do a podcast with the boys.
And you play music, and it's great.
Oh yeah, I do music.
Oh, we actually can talk a little bit. Like we got together and we played music with each other recently. That was very fun.
That was super fun.
Yeah,
I always love that.
I enjoyed that time. We came up with a song too.
That was
fun.
great. I've never played with that many people at one time, and I've been in different bands. It's 3 or 4 piece, but never 5 where everyone plays an instrument.
Mm.
So that was it was really cool to see how we kind of got through that. I've never really played with in a 2 guitar band before. You throw on keys on top of that is also new for me.
Yeah, it's great.
You put all those things together, and just the way we were able to gel throughout the time that we were there together and continue to get better and better, collaborate on ideas, figure things out together as we go, put a song together. I thought that was I had a blast.
It was very fun.
I can't wait for
I
another.
think
another one.
that I think that because we did kind of 3 things. I put them in 3 categories. We jammed, or just like, hey, let's just play these things, figure out what happens, and just play it. We covered some songs, so we all like pulled up music and like read it together, and then we wrote a song. I think my top favorite was writing a song and figuring that out and like hashing out the details, and then jamming is like my favorite thing to do with you guys. Well, in general with music, we're just like, hey, it's all kind of loose, experiment, play around, make mistakes. There's no pressure here. That's just such a comfortable environment for me, and I love it. Doing covers is always fun, but it doesn't compare to the realness with the other 2. I think
we did Other Side though, and I did enjoy doing that a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, Other Side by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. I found my character sheet that I made for myself back like 2019. So yeah, it's maybe a little dated at this point, but you guys want to know what I gave myself?
I want to see how you've grown.
Oh
yeah. I want to see. I think I've changed, and I will make notes of that. I think I've gotten worse in a couple of categories. I rated
become
myself
more commoner.
I think there are a couple of stats here. I think I may have overvalued myself. Okay, so starting off with strength, I gave myself a 15 in strength. So that's a +2 bonus, and I don't think I'm really there right now. I'd probably go back, drop it down to a +1. Like, I don't know. I can lift, but I'm not lifting crazy. I also gave myself a 14 in dexterity, which is also a +2 bonus. But I think I would probably drop that down too to like maybe a 12 or 11.
Why'd your dexterity get worse?
I don't think I stretch enough. You know, I think
acrobatically.
I think I'm not as quick or flexible as I used to be.
Are you tight? Do you have a tight end?
Tight end?
I got a tight end right now. Yeah, I got to loosen that end up.
Tell me about the groin.
Okay, come on.
I won't. I will not. I'm going to continue.
All right.
I gave myself a 17 in Constitution.
What? Whoa! Where's the standard array here? Jesus.
I wasn't doing standard array. I was just picking what I thought was right.
I'm gonna challenge your 17.
Yeah.
Name the hot sauce challenges you've been in and have instantly dropped out of.
Only one.
Yeah, but it was the one bite of a jalapeno. No, what was it? A Serrano?
It was 2 Serranos. It was 2 Serranos. I had to eat the 2 Serranos first before I could even begin on the burrito. And then I took a bite of that burrito and it was like, this is the most insane thing that has ever crossed my lips. Yeah. and I
he's coughing from it now.
Yeah.
He said it. It's back to haunt him. It's still like in between, like his stomach lining, like ready to pop up at any time.
Yeah, the Diablo burrito.
He's back at it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was thinking of more like, you know, at the time we were doing like physical labor like for long hours of the day, and I was like, you know, if I can go through this, you know, and like I feel like I have a pretty decent constitution for like working, you know, and like physical stuff, you know, like I think it manifests itself differently, you know. I might not be like
Pain
spicy.
tolerance was high. Yeah.
Yeah. Pain
Yeah.
tolerance was pretty fine. When I had appendicitis, I got out of the surgery for that, and then they were like, how are you feeling? I'm like, this is the high end of what I feel is comfortable. Is like, and it felt like the most intense ab workout I had ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
It probably was.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so, and then in my other stats here, I rated myself much more modestly. Intelligence 12 plus 1 bonus. Wisdom 13 plus 1 bonus. And charisma, I gave myself a +2 with a 15. So not crazy.
I look pathetic in comparison to you. I look like
you didn't go under average.
you never
at
touched. He's
anything?
never under average on anything.
I don't.
He is a god.
I'll tell you what, your
My humbleness
is like a 2.
That's where I tanked. Yeah, I'm the most humble.
Yeah.
I thought like I could do pretty good on a lot of those things, you know? Like I know things. I can perceive things.
Tell me more about your appendicitis.
I went to work while I had appendicitis. That's a bonus for my constitution too. I did a whole shift while having appendicitis before my friends forced me to go to the hospital.
Thank God they did.
Yeah, it's true that it is.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that they did. It didn't burst.
It didn't burst while Chipotleing around.
Yeah, I was working at Chipotle too, washing dishes.
Thinking about voodoo peppers.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, while Anthony gives us his rendition of Standard Array, I need you to switch to Standard Array so I know how you really.
You want me to switch to Standard Array?
I do. Yeah, it's only fair. You had no 8 to deal with. I had to deal with a -1 to my intelligence. How's that hurt my self-confidence?
Yeah, you know? I don't agree. I don't think that's accurate for you. Also, I'm a level 2 barbarian. That's the class that I gave myself.
So the lowest I can have is an 8.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here. Okay. So 8, I'll say, is strength. I do go to the gym and want to plug my gym later, but I would say that is something that I'm below average at. Gosh. So then the next thing I can use is a 10.
Yeah. Next highest is a 10.
The next highest is a 10. We'll go with wisdom there, I guess.
It's hard to pick.
What's my next one? It is hard.
I don't. Yeah. Why do you say wisdom at 10?
Because sometimes I can seem really wise, and other times I can be completely aloof and not really putting things together. It's weird where it comes and it goes, and sometimes I'm like, man, I'm on my stuff, but other times I'm like, I need to not leave the house because I'm not a functioning adult.
That sounds like a 10. That sounds like hits and misses. Yeah. Good.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that one's hard to argue.
Next would be 12.
Next thing is a 12. I think that's where I will go with knowledge.
Okay.
That will be my 12. I think I'm above average. I'm not like the average moron or the average. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like
I got a little.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I did something. Okay, so my next is a 13 or a 14.
13.
And my categories left are dexterity, constitution,
and dexterity, con, and charisma.
Dexterity. Let's go constitution. Will be my next one.
Okay.
I can handle
a lot of beer.
a good amount at times. I'm from Wisconsin, and after going back for 8 days or 10 days and seeing what the life was of like, oh, just the average life is basically you are a binge drinker. It's just how it is. And I'm able to do that, but it sucks. And sometimes I can eat really spicy food, but sometimes my butthole is just flushing out water, you know?
This is the episode dedicated to my grandma. She's going to watch this one and just like totally covered in.
Oh, that's now I have two.
I think our burp meter is like topping the charts right now too. I hope she enjoys that.
Yeah. Since Tyler mentioned his grandmother, I think I'm going to have 2 shout outs tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 left. I got constitution and dexterity. No. I've got
No, you got
dexterity
dex
and charisma.
Yeah.
I'll do dexterity as my next, which is what, a 14 or 15?
14.
Because while I am a lazy turd often, when it comes to hand-eye coordination and running and catching and throwing and scoring or whatever, I think I am
Sounds
a
like
valuable
dexterity.
team member.
Basketball
Yeah,
player.
I think those things that even when I'm being lazy, like I need to just force myself, and I've fairly athletic family, I guess. Guys in their 60s who still run and lift like they did years ago.
Awesome.
So, and so then the last one, I guess, is charisma. I don't know. I do this. Sometimes I think I'm funny. Sometimes I think I'm good at stuff. And then other times I'm definitely not a 20. Sometimes I can be on my stuff. But I think that's maybe what I'm best at when I'm putting effort and thinking about it, or just in a setting with friends. I think I can be involved in. Yeah. And I think I can be engaged in any type of conversation with any person of any age. And I think that lends itself well to being able to, I don't know, I guess, I can mix in a lot of different ways. And I think that's maybe where my charisma shows best, is like the amount of people that I'm able to find common ground with, or a good conversation, and people really from all different backgrounds and ages, whatever it might be. I'm always interested in learning from anyone regardless, and hopefully having, being able to make them laugh or having a good conversation about whatever. That's where I think that's where I'm probably best at in terms of the things that you laid out of those 6 categories.
I love it. I agree completely. I think you're a splendid person.
Cut it right there.
I think you're a 20 out of 20.
Man, you are just a sweetheart. You over there with your appendicitis and your tight end.
Oh, fantastic. In that order. Quickly, Michael, let's blast through your standard array.
Okay, standard array. I got an 8 in wisdom. I think that's my lowest stat. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I got 10.
You were like, yeah, and we're like, oh yeah, we get it. No.
Yeah, you get it. 10 for dexterity. I think I can do okay, just average at dexterity based things. Next is strength. Like I said, still a 12. I think I could improve my strength more and be stronger, but it's not so bad. Charisma 13. 13.
Fine, I'll allow it.
And then
he's telling himself, he's like, if I say the number again,
it's the charisma.
I like
charisma
it,
check.
No.
He made a charisma check.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a good
That's
sell.
Good.
I bought it.
Yeah,
there we go. See, I can do it. Intelligence 14. I think that is maybe one of my stronger suits. And then Constitution, baby, I still kept it as my highest with 15.
Appendicitis, baby.
Appendicitis, man.
Chipotle,
I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's
it's
good.
the pizza breakfast, lunch, and dinner mentality, bro.
You got it.
I love it.
The one meal every day.
I
I'm
agree
jealous.
in the places where it's positive, and I have arguments for the things that are negative, but that's all right.
I can't wait to be proven wrong when my Constitution tanks.
Can we do a D&D campaign where we're all humans?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. Easily.
Where we all are ourselves and use these stats. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds
so
fun to me.
Actually, that's really interesting that you
intro.
bring that up. A really great way to intro a game is I feel like that's it. That's the way to do it.
Intro.
Let's roll, baby.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about it before, but a funnel, which was introduced from Dungeon Crawl Classics, where you choose 4 very basic characters. They have very little skills and stats, and you run them through a super deadly dungeon, and then whoever survives ends up being the character that you roll with, and usually those characters are also randomly generated, which makes it interesting, because if you get really good randomly generated stats, you're like, oh, I want to protect my good guy, but then you might need to use your good guy to do the things in the dungeon. So
Michael, I really like the idea of the kind of the randomizing too. I was like, it'd be kind of fun to be a person and be myself. But I also like the idea of we walk in, nobody knows.
Yeah,
Nobody knows
no
what
idea
they're
what
gonna
you
be.
got, and you have to make it work for you. Of like, well, I don't want to jump on this guy because my strength is low, but maybe I could do a backflip. My acrobatics is high.
Yeah, you don't want to risk
React to the
your
character
good
sheet.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
sometimes
I like that.
sometimes they get got by a random trap. You never know.
Yeah, we should run through a module or something with you, Anthony, of just like a pre-made adventure, something to just run into. Like everything's written, we just have to read it and then
Yeah.
react to it.
I'd
And
be
you can
down to
just
do that.
be yourself, play as yourself, and then your stats are based on yourself.
That's awesome.
You could be like a isekai, like transport from the real world and then insert into
Yeah.
the fantasy realm sort of thing. Like
You could be the Inuyasha girl.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys going all manga on me right now?
Something like that.
It's
I watched
like
one anime.
that's the idea. That's the idea is you know, a guy gets hit by a truck and then they wake up and they're in a fantasy realm and they got to figure out how to get back
They're
to
wizards and dragons now, and they're like
yeah.
reacting to it.
And they're like, "What? That's crazy. These things are real." And then it's like you have to figure out how to get back. I got to get back to the real world. And it's like,
That or
no, you're
just
trapped there
that-
forever.
I like
And
that
they're just
idea,
in a
but I also
coma
like
the entire
us.
time.
I like the idea of just us as we are, but we're also wearing like leather armor and reacting as ourselves.
Yeah,
You know,
That's
I like both ideas. Yeah.
When's the last time you guys watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
it's been a while. Did you watch the third?
Wow.
The third one?
I might have, but it was maybe not super memorable.
Yeah. I thought Bill and Ted's the second one,
Bogus Journey.
Bogus Journey was peak
with
for
Dead, right? It's the Grim Reaper.
me. Yeah,
That-
he's got the Grim Reaper.
While I love that movie, that gave me nightmares. Those
Mm.
with like I don't know the
And the
rabbit
clones.
chasing him, and there's just
Mm.
crazy stuff. But some of the band members when they're in like the heaven type thing where George
Yeah.
Carlin is, super cool, super cool.
Oh yeah, George Carlin is
Rufus.
Rufus, yeah. Love that. Love Bill and Ted's, man.
Love George Carlin.
Yeah.
God,
They should have deep faked him in the third movie.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Tyler, what's stuff that we haven't gotten to yet?
Modules and stuff. We were going to talk about the
Green Bay
Shadow Outlet.
Packers, 100 years.
Did we talk about that already?
Oh, wow.
Green Bay Packers, 100 years. 100 years.
100
It's in the
years.
notes. I don't know anything about that. Can you elaborate?
You know anything about the Green Bay Packers in 100 years?
Yes. So a few years ago, the Packers celebrated their 100th year anniversary, and it basically started as a meat packing company. A bunch of guys who worked for a meat packing company called the Indian Acme Packing Company. And it was guys. That's how the Green Bay Packers started. It was a group of dudes who worked together. It was like, you guys work together. It's like you guys starting a professional sports team, and this tiny town. And 100 years later, they're one of the world's biggest, most recognizable teams and brands that we have. I mean, it's pretty
That's
crazy.
pretty wild.
And
That's a
one of the
crazy story.
winningest in one of the still the smallest towns to have a professional sports team. We will get more into. I know some of the news this week with Damian Lillard happening today, and some of the Taylor Swift stuff kind of blew us out of the original designated plan to talk more about the Packers, but plenty of time. This is week 4 of the NFL season. Packers play tomorrow night against the Lions. If you guys want to join me for barbecue and sports bar, you two are welcome to. But we'll get into more football as we go on, and we can talk about Green Bay Packers history, I think, as we go forward.
The bat signal has been sent out.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking great. I love that.
Let's see
super
what else
cool.
was on there. We did have some housekeeping to do. Do we want to do some housekeeping? Giving inspiration. I don't know what that's all about. We did want to include a comment that we received recently. We got a comment from Zatch the Ninja, and they wanted to let you know that Tyler, monsters don't die when they hit 0 hit points.
Yeah, that's true. We were talking in the clip about hit points, and then I think Anthony trailed us off to some meme or some joke or something. But that's what I was talking about in the start of the clip. I think it's the clip where You zoom in on my face or something like that, and it was pretty funny. But he caught that. We were talking about hit points and relating it to video games, and how in video games, when monsters, you get them down to 0 hit points, they perish, and you continue on with the story, collect and loot the body or whatever. And in Dungeons and Dragons specifically, there are the things called death saving throws that when a creature like my character or the monster reaches 0 hit points, they can roll death saving throws to try to stabilize if they're not outright killed. And
now,
it was a nice catch.
Now, to be fair, you can roll death saving throws for monsters, but 9 times out of 10, once it hits 0, it's effectively just considered a dead creature at that point. Like, it'd be a lot of bookkeeping to roll death saving throws for every monster that happened to go by, and it's just kind of just assumed that, like, that monster's probably going down. If you drop a commoner person, just a regular person, to 0 hit points, they might roll death saving throws if that's important.
Yeah, especially if they're like important or like an NPC that you crafted over time and they happen to be dying.
Yeah, but if it's just like a dude on the street and you attack him, like, they might just go down.
Yeah, that's true. And it's the kind of thing where, like, at the end of the battle, I collect half of the arrows that I spent because I was shooting from long range, and I just collect them and I can add them back into my bag. Do I have to say that every time? Maybe it's going to get annoying. Maybe I do it 5 times, 10 times.
Ooh, yeah. You sent us this the other day. The metal icons as
alignments,
as the alignment chart, and we did talk to you about the alignment chart the other day, and now you're getting the idea. I like that. I thought it was really interesting that Tony Iommi and Ozzy Osbourne, who were both part of Black Sabbath, are on the opposite end of the alignment chart on here. I think that's really interesting.
Sure.
I think Robert Plant as a true neutral druid makes 100% sense.
I love that. Robert Plant, yeah.
Let's see, Lars Ulrich neutral evil, that makes sense to me. Ronnie James Dio as neutral good Elven Mage also feels very appropriate to me.
Dio, also a former Black Sabbath member. He was the singer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Later, after Ozzy, maybe 1 or 2 albums.
So 3 members of Black Sabbath showing up here. Let's see. Bruce Dickinson. I'm not as familiar with what band he was with.
Tyler, you want to give that one a shot?
No, I'd be guessing.
Iron Maiden.
I was gonna guess Iron Maiden, but I just don't know the members of that
incredible live
as much. Yeah,
and I saw them probably 20 years after what you would consider their prime, and Black Sabbath as well. And
you've seen Black Sabbath? That's crazy.
A couple times, yeah. It would have been 04 to 08 in that era. It felt like at Ozfest they were switching off between Ozzy doing Ozzy and his solo stuff, and then a couple times he had Black Sabbath there, and just really awesome every single time. And
I've seen Dio.
Iron Maiden blew me away. Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen Dio in Heaven and Hell. It was like, I want to say 3 or 4 years before he passed away.
Awesome.
Oh man, it was so killer. Dude, like you forget that dude is short. He fills the room, but he's like so powerful. But like seeing him on stage, I'm like, oh dang, I didn't know he was short at all.
He could be holy diving in the shallow end and be just fine.
Oh my god, end the show. End the show there, buddy. That's great. I love that.
Dave Mustaine, you guys know his?
I recognize the name. I don't remember. Metallica? No.
That's one. Yes, that's one.
Oh, it is?
So he was in Metallica.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny. Metallica known for their like Hall of Fame level drinking and partying, and he actually got kicked out of Metallica before they released their first album for being overly drinking and partying.
Whoa.
But then they kick him out. He wrote a few songs on the very first album, and then he went on to start Megadeth. So you guys would probably know him. Megadeth.
Yeah. And then what was Nico McBrain?
Nico McBain, I believe, is the drummer from Iron Maiden.
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And then King Diamond is his own thing, King Diamond. But yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure
thought that
Nico
was the dude
McBain.
from Death. Or
I see what you're saying.
not
I can
Death,
understand
but
that.
Ghost, actually. Not Death.
Oh, nice.
I meant Ghost. I thought that was the dude from Ghost.
Similar paint.
Similar paint, yeah.
Sure.
Classic 80s rockers.
Yep.
Most of those all 80s rockers.
Yep.
Other
than Plant, who you would put in, and
he's
depending on
70s, yeah. But I mean, kind of.
Other than that, though, everyone really had, and
well,
Sabbath
technically, Sabbath starts in like 74 too, yeah.
Late 60s to into the 70s.
Yeah.
But Ozzy, what he did in the 80s, still one of the 80s greats. Especially in terms of metal.
Yeah. Dude ate a bat.
I love that early Sabbath sound.
Dude ate a bat before it was cool.
So good. Yeah. And Robert Plant, I mean, all his lyrics were about D&D type stuff. Right?
You love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
they talk about that all the time.
He's a hero. Oh yeah.
You guys want to vibe check our way on out of here?
Yeah.
Or should we we'll do maybe a round of shout outs?
Yeah.
Definitely some shout outs I have ready.
We can vibe also.
I've been vibing pretty hard.
I've been vibing hard. I've been 12.
11.
Another 18.
Yeah. This die is working out for me.
It's loaded.
So
this is how I know my knowledge level is low, and my wisdom is I can't figure out how to hold it up to work my camera properly. I'm like, I'm properly rated.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start off the plugs here. First of all, I want to thank you, the listener, for listening to another episode of Athletics Check. This was a very fun one to record. You can watch us on Athletics Check at the YouTube Athletics Check. And then you can see us at Instagram at athletics_check. You can follow us on TikTok at athletics_check101. You can drop us an email at athletics_check101@gmail.com. And finally, you can join our Discord, the Athletics Check Podcast. Get in there. You can talk to us whenever you want. And you can also find Tyler at Atlassian Maps, where he do be drawing, and they are very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then just for a couple of personal plugs, I want to plug a couple of web comics that I've been reading for a long time. Well, one I've been reading for a long time is Giant in the Playground's Order of the Stick, which if you know, you know. But I feel like I don't hear a ton of people talking about it, at least not in my circle. So it's a D&D based, stick figure based webcomic. It's been going on for years. I think I started reading it when I was in middle school. It's been going strong since then. It's awesome. Keep it up. And then another one that's new to me is Kill 6 Billion Demons, which has been going on for a long time too, and it's nearly done. So it's a good time to read, because it will soon be complete. You can read it in its entirety, and the world building in that sets my brain on fire. And the art is so good, and the story really interesting. There's so many, like, it's vast. The lore is vast. It's really great. So go check them out. And I'll throw it over to you guys. Who wants to go next?
I have a quick one.
Okay.
Are you into map drawing? Because I got the great caught you off guard. I can't even.
Oh my god!
I'm a great tutorial artist on Instagram. His name is Map Effects. His name is Josh, a fantasy map maker. I learned how to draw a lot of maps from this guy, of how to draw mountains, how to draw floating islands, how to draw a desert oasis. And he does a really great job of explaining why things happen in nature that way. So it really helps your brain click of like, no, I can't just put a lake there. A lake needs to have an egress to the ocean. Make sure all that water goes somewhere. it's really great explanations, really great artistic style with maps on a large scale world building way, and also personal up close dungeon maps. Guy's great. His name is Josh. That's Instagram.com/mapfx. I really got you off guard with that surprise jump.
Oh God, that was
Tony.
really
Do you
nice.
have anything to plug?
Sure do. So we talked a bit about gyms. So I wanted to plug my gym, GSC, Gratitude Strength CrossFit in Hillsboro. Yeah, Lindsay and Ethan are just so awesome. Love those guys, and I want you guys to come with me just to check it out. Just check it
so
out.
go.
Get
Let's
your little free
Yeah.
trial action. I
I
think
need to improve my dexterity.
I think us three would have a lot of fun there. I think we would it's such a good community there. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We'll talk more off air.
sounds great.
Shout out to Tyler's grandmother, and then want to talk about two of my
Sorry
favorite.
about all the swears.
Sorry about the swears. It was mostly Tyler, pretty much all Tyler.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite Spanish content creators, Salvador Dali and Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Carlos Ruiz Zafón, his birthday was 2 days ago. He passed away in 2020, but one of my favorite writers, and just totally incredible. You should definitely check him out in Spanish or in English. His stuff is it slaps, as the kids say. And Salvador Dali, Swans Reflecting Elephants was the painting that I referenced earlier as one of my favorites. And Salvador Dali, there's plenty of good painters, but he's my favorite. What he does, I think, is the most fun and what speaks to me the most, I guess. So if you like art, Salvador Dali is he's the man. And if you like to read, Carlos Ruiz Zafón has some great books. The it's the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series that he has done is just so good. Shadow of the Wind is what drew me into him originally. So there you have it.
I'm super into that drawing of the swans and elephants. That's super
so cool. So cool.
Oh yeah, very inspiring.
That's rad. I love that.
Got to get another one in there.
I think it's time to vibe out, boys. We're vibing out. We're rolling out. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Ascend
another
out. One? Okay.
12
Dude,
again.
All right, look it. You gotta have to see it because no one's gonna believe me otherwise.
Did you crit? Camera. Yeah, baby.
Woo! Yes.
Crit us out of here, boy.
We got a crit in and we got a crit out.
This is unbelievable. Episode 9 has been absolutely special. I just want to thank God first and foremost. Tyler and Michael, they're pretty cool too. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's a great time every time. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, all that jazz. We appreciate your feedback, and thank you so much for checking us out. For Tyler and Michael, I am Anthony. We will see you next time in episode 10.
Bye.
Double